That's awesome.
Yeah.
Speaking of 1812, so Jean Lafitte had a huge part to play in the War of 1812, and were the people who fought in the War of 1812 from New Orleans? Did they come over with Lafitte?
They came over from all over the place.
From all over the place.
Yeah.
Okay, just curious.
They were part of the immigrant flow from all directions. Before we had a designated cemetery, the first one was Old City Cemetery, which is just a corner of that big Broadway district that we see. But before they had that, people were kind of buried in the sand dunes because that's where the Indians before us buried their dead. And you can imagine nature's sand dunes, that didn't work too well. But when we had our third yellow fever epidemic, they realized they needed a designated burial ground. Old City and Trinity, which is right across from it, were the 1830s.
Okay.
Those were utilized mostly as a potter's field, which is where you bury somebody that either can't afford to be buried or can't afford a marker, or maybe they were an outcast of society that you couldn't put them on consecrated ground, but that's where they were buried. So there are so many burials that aren't even marked on the island. The Ott family, who's been stone carving here for 5 generations, and no kidding, the Adams family before them had that company, but there have been other stone carvers or masons here. If they had a mistake on a stone, if they carved the wrong date or something, you can see some of the old stones, they've kind of tried to correct it and not very well, but some of them would throw the stone out and recarve it. It could be that, or it could be a situation of vandalism where sometimes when cemeteries are kind of overrun or not kept, people go in and they steal the stones, flip them upside down, and use them for sidewalks and patios. So they have these marble patios. It's like, that's a suspicious shape.
Yeah.
But yeah, they end
funny.
up all over the place.
So I don't know if you know this about me. It's like you're probably stepping on someone's gravesite because there have been so many people buried in these cemeteries and kind of mixed and mingled in there.
That, in addition to the 1900 storm burials that weren't marked, some were marked, some weren't marked. When I've worked with groups like in East Texas, we can actually use ground penetrating radar, and it comes out where you see kind of like little shadow rectangles so you can find the unmarked graves, and they're all lined up and facing the same way. If you use ground penetrating radar in Old City or in the entire district over there, it looks like somebody's just dropped a bunch of dominoes because they've used dredge fill 3 times during the 20s. So even if they didn't move the marker or anything, imagine what that dredge fill did to the coffin or casket that's underneath.